original, there ain't no blueprint, I'm not neurotypical. I'm used to being the light in the darkness. They say I'm chosen, I say it ain't far-fetched. Yeah, I'm the oldest. The cape that I wear is the boldness. I'm probably the first on your mind when you think about who was the one that could hold this. No one they noticed. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Sincerely the Oldest with Miss Amarachi. It's your girl, Miss Amarachi. Whether you're new here or you're a returner, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that post notification button so you're notified every time I drop a new video or a new episode, which is weekly Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central. Before we start, as always, we're going to say a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for giving me another opportunity to come before your people. Lord, I pray that you'll speak to me and through me to your people. Lord, let this message resonate with at least one ear. I hand this podcast episode over to you in the name of Jesus. I pray. Amen. Amen. How are y'all doing? Today is a very bittersweet day for me because if you all have been following me, if you all have been paying attention and following along, today is episode 10, which makes the last episode for the first season. I'm going to clap it up. I'm going to do a clap, y'all. It's crazy reflecting on this season and reflecting on just the idea that I had to start this podcast and, again, why I wanted to do it. I felt like it was time for the oldest to finally speak on their experiences, and I wanted to start with myself. And I'm really happy that I decided to jump off the ledge and start the podcast because even though, I may not have as many viewers right now, I do appreciate and love that there have been people here and there have been reaching out to me and letting me know that the podcast or a specific episode really touched them or resonated with them. And so I feel like my job was to make this podcast for myself, but then that job expanded into other roles, which is to do it for others and to, again, kind of give others a voice that they feel like they may not have, as well as, naming things that people know are true and feel, but they aren't really as comfortable saying them. So I'm really, really happy. Again, this is a really bittersweet moment, but I'm excited for where this podcast is going to go. This is not the end of the podcast as far as more episodes. I will be taking a short little break, maybe a month and a half, because I have some other things that I have brewing that I also want to spend time and attention on. But we're going to be right back here, potentially mid-August, latest September, with new episodes. And my second season is going to feature a lot more guests. So this first season, I was going to play around with having guests, but I felt like I just needed to introduce myself a little bit more. And then now I'm going to start bringing people onto the podcast season 2 and beyond, so that they can start to share their experiences and their perspectives. Because as much as, my story is important, again, I want to make sure that other people are able to tell their stories as well. So that is what you all can look forward to seasons 2 and beyond. I'm excited to see how far we take this thing. Now let's get into the topic for the day. So as I was thinking about how I wanted to close and end this season, I thought about what I've talked about thus far during the season. A lot of what I've talked about has been about the trials, the tribulations, the frustrations, the experiences that are often like negative when it comes to being the oldest, especially the oldest daughter. And so I wanted to kind of bring all of that together and end the season on a positive note. Not to say that the other episodes haven't been positive, but I wanted to end it on more of a positive note. And so when I thought about how I wanted to end it, I thought the perfect way to end it was to talk about the joy that I feel being the oldest daughter and being an older sibling. Now, I'm just going to prep you all. I might get emotional during this conversation. I'm just going to let the emotions fly as they come. If I cry, cool. If I don't, all good. But I just wanted to give you all a warning because, I know a lot of people aren't used to seeing me cry. So if you just see me crying, then that's why. Because I truly feel like this specific topic is like something that really pulls at my heartstrings when I think about the joy that I've had being an older sister. So yeah, let's get into it. As always, I always start with a story, and I want to take you all back to. I think I kind of talked about this in the first episode, so this may be deja vu for some people who have been following me, but I want to take you all back to how I became an older sister, because that will then kind of help you understand my frame, my point of reference, and my mindset. And if you hear grumbling in the background, it's because it's thundering outside, but it's all good because it's not going to stop this party. But anyway, I want to take you all back to my journey becoming the oldest daughter and an older sibling. So for the first 8 years of my life, it was just me and my brother. I'm 3 years younger than him. So for, again, the first 8 years of my life, I was the youngest. I was the only girl. I was daddy's little girl. I was mommy's little girl. I was a menace. I was a menace. I was. But I had a great time. Did all the activities: ballet, tap, basketball, gymnastics, painting, art, you name it, I did it. When it was just two of us. When I turned 8, my mom wound up pregnant, which is crazy because when I was 6, I think 6 or 7, my mom and dad had a really bad car accident, near death head on collision, and my mom like broke both of her legs, messed up her hip, my dad messed up his chest. Like my mom was in pretty bad condition, to the point where, again, like she almost passed away. Thank God for the nurses at the hospital who saved her life. But I tell that story because everything leading up to my sister's birth, or conception and then birth, um, it is a miracle that they were able to be conceived and then they were able to be born. Because again, like my mom, I'm pretty sure she like broke her hip and had all types of injuries, and so it's like, what was y'all doing while she was supposed to be healing? I'm in on y'all. I'm in on y'all, mommy and daddy. While mommy was supposed to be healing from her car accident, y'all was doing the nasty, nasty. But no. So yeah, like I say all that to say that my sister's birth is literally a blessing. It was literally a blessing because everyone was like, this lady may never walk again, let alone be able to have babies. And granted, they were C-section babies, but still be able to carry twins. My sisters were premature, but I mean, they're healthy, they're good, and they're stable. They were stable. So um, I wanted to paint the picture of how they were brought into the world. Fast forward, and when they were born, of course, because I'm now no longer the youngest child, no longer the only daughter, um, I didn't like it. Like as a child, I didn't like it. It wasn't something that I was fond of. I was not happy about it. I think I started acting out a lot more around then, which again, like as I'm thinking about like building and starting my own family, and I've been watching a lot of like content around parents and like introducing their children to like a new baby. It's so amazing. Like shout out to social media. Thank God for social media because you see all the ways that you can integrate a child into a new child being born and being brought into the family, because a lot of times kids don't take it well. But back then my parents didn't care. They was like, look, these are your sisters, whatever. So my way of like, I guess, rebelling against them being born was I decided that I couldn't see anymore. I mysteriously became blind overnight. I told the doctor, I was like, I can't see. My mom took me to the eye doctor. They did a test. They found out that I was lying the whole time, but of course I was a child, so I didn't know that. They gave me fake glasses and was just like, look, this is just how kids act when there's something new that happens, a change in their life. She'll grow out of this phase. Eventually, I started chewing up the glasses and I threw them away. But again, like I think about like, and I've said this in my previous episodes. I think about like the frustration and the just annoyance and the anger that I felt around having to be a big sister, and that carried through the majority of my childhood and adolescence, like teenage years, because of course, as my sisters are getting older and growing, and I'm getting older, my responsibilities are also growing. And so I'm not able to go out with my friends because I have to babysit. I'm not able to do things because I have to watch the kids. I have to go pick them up. I have to feed them. My mom at that time was here by herself. She was essentially a single parent because my dad was in Nigeria. So now I have to be a second parent, of which I didn't ask for. And so again, for a long time, and I said this in the last episode, I held a lot of resentment towards my sisters, towards my family, because I was just like, why am I not able to live my life? Because I now have to be a second guardian for kids that I didn't even want. You know what I'm saying? And who I am very angry are here. All the while, everyone is able to live their life and enjoy their life. Fast forward, and I think it was when I had finally graduated from college that my relationship with my sisters changed. And it's probably because I'm older now and I was grown at that time. My sisters are old enough to take care of themselves. And I no longer have to have this huge responsibility on me because I literally was in college doing my own thing. And the only time I really had to deal with my sisters was when I was home for breaks, and I was just like, that's fine, whatever. Like, but then I'm going back to college and I'm going to live my best life. But after I graduated from undergrad, I started to find the joy in being an older sibling. Again, my sisters were at this age. I graduated from college, of course, 21. So they were what? 14, 15. Yeah, around that age, 14 to 15. And so they start experiencing life. They start having boyfriends. They're in high school now. They start dating. They start being involved in school and activities and stuff like that. And that's when I started finding the joy, because I think that is when my role of being like a second parent turned into me actually being an older sister and being a confidant and being someone who can give them advice and being a leader. I found that my sister started to watch me a lot more. A lot of the things that I was doing and that I had done in high school, they started to do. A lot of the things that I was engaging in, not bad things, but a lot of things I was engaging in, my sisters were interested in engaging in. They wanted to do what I wanted to do or what I was doing. And I think that like once I realized and once I saw that my sisters just looked at me in admiration and they wanted to emulate me, and I was their role model, it changed my mindset around being an older sister to like now, instead of like, oh, I have to be like a parent or I have to like be tied down. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, like there are these two humans that look at me and like see like the best of the best. Like they look at me and they want to, again, they want to be like me. They want to be around me because they enjoy being in my presence. And again, like when I started to have that mindset, when I started to think in that mind frame, everything changed, because it was no longer about trying to get rid of them. And it was more so about trying to do the best that I could so that they could be like me or better. Be like me or better. Yeah. Yeah. Be like me or better. I think about another story when I had graduated from grad school. This is recently. So within the last 2 years. And this I think was like the peak of like when, this is not the peak as far as like, once you get to the peak, you start going down. But this was like the culmination of like everything that I have gone through, everything that I've like put into like being the best big sister that I knew I could be while not having any examples. The peak for me and where it really like clicked in my head and where everything shifted for me was, again, this was it within the last 2-3 years, when I graduated from grad school. My sisters were in college, and they were talking about what they wanted to do when they graduated from undergrad. And they're like, we're going to graduate from undergrad, and then we're going to both go to the same school. We're going to live in the same apartment, and we're going to go to grad school like Machi did so that we can like, get our masters. And I got chills when I heard that conversation. And I'm actually I told you I was going to get emotional. I'm getting emotional as I'm saying this story. The reason why I got chills and the reason why I was getting emotional, I currently am getting emotional, is because when you're the oldest, a lot of what you're doing, you're the first. Like you're the first to do everything. Like you're the first to you have to be the first, and you often go through the pains of being the first because you are the oldest and you're older. So you're going through life before all your siblings. Um and again, I sit in a really weird position because I am technically the middle child. Even though there's four of us, my sisters, I count them as one because they're twins. I have an older brother, but I'm the oldest daughter. So like I'm an older sibling and I'm a younger sibling, but I'm still like the first of my siblings to do a lot. I think I told y'all my brother, he went to undergrad in Nigeria. He didn't get his master's. He came back here and started working. I was the first one to get a full scholarship to college. I was the first one to, um, like, you know, get the do the whole college thing how I did it. My brother did traditional college here, it didn't work for a year, and then he went to Nigeria. So by all accounts, his college journey was non-traditional. I was the first child to get a master's. I was the first child to essentially move out the house, like moved across the country to LA to get my master's. I was the first to do a lot of things. And again, like when you're doing all these things, you're not thinking about the fact that people are watching you. You're not thinking about the fact that people potentially may want to follow in your journey. You're just throwing darts at a board and seeing which one sticks. And I was doing that a lot, FAFSA. I did all that by myself. Applying for this, getting the scholarship, I did all of that by myself. Because my parents are immigrants. They didn't know it. My mom, she went to college, but she had to pay out of pocket because she maxed out on all her loans. My dad's dad, my grandpa, was wealthy, so he paid for them to go to college, so he didn't have to worry about that. So I, for the most part, was the first one to do all these things, and so I digress. But doing what I did and feeling like I'm just gonna do what I think is right, and I'm hoping that it's gonna work out, and for it to work out, and then to watch my sisters and to hear my sisters admire my journey and admire what I've been able to do and want to do the same thing puts a joy in my heart that I didn't know I could ever feel. It puts a purpose in my life that I didn't know I had. Um, I always, always, always tell my sisters what I've done in life and where I've gone in life, let that be the starting point for you. I want you to take it as far as you can go. I want you to go further than me. My biggest happiness would be my sisters doing better than me and not stopping at one master's, get two masters, get a PhD, right? If for me, I knew I couldn't continue to school. A schooling thing, I can't do no PhD, but I tell my sisters all the time, if you have it in you, do that because I want you to be better than me. I want you to go farther than me. I want you to do things that I couldn't do or that I was scared to do that now that I know that I was scared to do it, I'm pushing you all to do it. And again, like just seeing them, watching their journey, like watching my sisters in college right now doing things that didn't have the courage to do in college. Like as much courage as I had and as much courage as people think I had, the stuff that my sisters be doing in college, I don't think that I would have had the courage to do. I mean, my sister Mama is literally a 3-time queen. Like she's like literally like Miss Sophomore, Miss Freshman. She's Miss Junior. Matter of fact, she's a 4-time queen because she was Miss BMI in college as well. Like I wouldn't have had the courage to do that. Like knowing that she had the courage to even like go to a HBCU, follow her dreams, not be conformed or confined to what people thought she was going to be able to do is amazing because I didn't explore those options. Like once I got my scholarship, I was like, I'm going here. I'm not even about to play around in the field of like where I'm going to go to school. So, I am thankful and grateful that like even though the journey of being an older sister and oldest daughter started off rough and rocky for me, I'm so happy that I've gotten to a place where I stand confident in the fact that I'm an older sister. I am blessed that I'm an older sister. I have sisters who I can look at and say, Y'all are my sisters, and I'm proud to call y'all my sisters, and I'm proud to know that I was an example for y'all and that y'all followed in my footsteps and actually surpassed and exceeded and will continue to exceed what I did and what I have done and what I will continue to do. And it's all because you saw me and you saw somebody that you trusted to follow in their footsteps and in their journey. And if that is, I know that that's not all God has for me in this world, but if my lasting impression on my sisters is that I was a great older sister and that I was somebody who they trusted and that they felt comfortable coming to with anything, I know I've done my job. I know that I've done my job. And I can say with confidence, I know I've done my job as an older sister, So it's a blessing, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful that the joy has now come. After the pain, the joy has come, you know. And in conclusion, being the oldest daughter, being the oldest sibling comes with, like I said, a lot of pain, discomfort, resentment, anger, frustration, tears, fear. But it also comes with joy and love and laughter and happiness and grace and leadership. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Even though I told my mom to put my sisters back into her stomach and make them disappear, I am now happy she did not make them disappear, and she actually brought them out of their stomach, and now they are here thriving and doing well and exceeding all expectations that were placed on them by people who didn't know what they were capable of and didn't know the older sibling that they had. Clock that. So with that, the onion for the day to my oldest is: remember, you are the blueprint, you are the blessing, you are the bright light your family didn't know that they needed. We are the blueprint. We are the blessing. We are the bright light. I stand in the fact that I'm the blueprint. I stand in the fact that I'm the bright light. I stand in the fact that I'm a blessing, and the blessing that my siblings didn't know that they needed but are happy to have. And that might sound cocky and egotistical, but hey, it's facts. So with that, thank you so much for joining me on this journey of season 1 of Sincerely the Oldest with Miss Amarachi. If you're new here or if you're a returner, like I said earlier, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that post notification button so you're notified when I'm back with a new season and when I drop new episodes. Shameless plug, new music is coming soon. So that's what I'm going to be working on this short little break between season 1 and season 2. So look out for that. If you're not following me, I do have an Instagram page dedicated to this podcast, which is at Sincerely the Oldest. That's at SINCERELYTHEOLDEST. That's on Instagram. I also have a personal Instagram at It's Miss Amarachi. That's at ITSMSAMARACHI. You can follow me at either to continue to keep up with what I have going on. Until next time, stay blessed, bold, and beautiful. And to my oldest, I love y'all. See y'all in season 2. Mwah. I'm the one, the original. There ain't no blueprint, I'm not neurotypical. I'm used to being the light in the darkness. They say I'm chosen, I say it ain't far-fetched. Yeah, I'm the oldest.